Good morning. Today we will start with the term two syllabus. So we are very aware about that. In the term two, we have a SQL concepts. So in the SQL, we have a four chapter, simply the terminologies of the SQL, SQL queries, tables, joins, and in the last interfacing Python with the MySQL. So these all are the concepts which covered in the SQL, and one is the computer networks, and the last thing is a data structure. So these are the topics which are covered in the term 2 syllabus. So one by one we will cover everything in a single video. So today we'll start with a SQL concepts only. So if we are aware about the SQL concepts, then only we will use the SQL queries. So today in this video, we will start with a SQL concepts. So one by one, I will just tell you the each and every terminology which is to be used in the SQL. So let us start with that. So this is all about the relational databases also. So the topic covered in this video is DBMS and its benefit. RDBMS, basic terminologies, that is relational, feed, row, column, tuple, cardinality, data items, views. It means if we are aware about these terms, then only we will use these in the SQL. Otherwise, it's not possible to give the answer. So we have to aware about these terminologies very firstly in the beginning. And different type of keys, this is very much important. If we know the how many type of keys are there and what is the uses of these keys, then only we will use in the further questions. So very first thing is a database. So I'm saying the very first topic is a DBMS. So before DBMS, the very first thing what we want to know about the database. So database is what it may be defined as a collection of interrelated data. So if you are writing in your paper, it is a collection of data, that will be a wrong. It is a collection of interrelated data. Why the stress is upon interrelated data? It means in a single column, the data is to be the same. Suppose the one column is of name. So in that column, the only thing is to be added as a name. I'm not putting a salary in that column. Okay. So this is the reason why I said it is a collection of interrelated data. It means in a single column, the same data is to be added. Okay. Now just read this definition again. A database may be defined as a collection of interrelated data stored together to serve the multiple applications. So it depends upon the different application, what application we are using for retrieving the data from the database. The thing is, database is to store the data of the interrelated, store the data that is interrelated data. Okay. If I have a student table, I am putting only the student data into the student table. I'm not putting the accounts data into the student table. Okay. Okay. The next is DBMS. So DBMS full form is what? It is a database management system. Name itself signifies this is one a software which handles the database for the storing, for the maintaining, for the utilizing database. It means whenever we want to use any database, so we have some system for using it. If I want to retrieve some data, obviously I will use some software for retrieving the data. For maintaining and utilizing means the integrity has to be, what integrity has to be put into the database. It is the thing which database does. The integrity, the constraints, whatever the thing is to be put into the database, whatever the check is to be put, it is the duty of the software rule. Means in the software, we are putting some constraints to retrieve the data from the database. We have a lot of DBMS softwares. Now, what is the benefit of DBMS? DBMS. Very first is data redundancy. So this question is very important. What are the benefits? Because we have a critical paper this time, so everything we have to aware about that, because we don't know which question comes into it. We have to learn the thing very deeply. Okay. So the benefits of DBMS. What are the benefits? The very first benefit is data redundancy. So the thing is, we just write the line data redundancy. So what is redundancy? Okay, redundancy means the duplication of data. So I'll just take the example. If we are doing if we are storing the data of student data in a database manually, so sometime we just do the mistake. Suppose one student has a phone number, like some phone number, and I just put it to the one register. Next time I'm not in a school, and again that student told me that my phone number has changed, and another teacher has also put that phone number in another register. It means what? We have a duplication of data. Again, when we just match this roll number and phone number, we have a two entries of that. It means the data is to be duplicated manually. So we have a management software that just check that there is no duplication of data because of keys, which is the next concept over here. Because we have a keys, when we enter one time data, because one student has one admission number, if I put a one admission number and along with I just put a phone number, updated phone number, so next time when that student come, I just search for same admission number. So obviously that phone number is to be updated only along that entry. It means there will be a no duplication of data when we use the DBMS. Okay. Second is data inconsistency. So what is that? It means mismatch the multiple copies of same data. For example, I just put the entry of one student in a one register. Okay. Next time I'm not the teacher of that class. And another teacher who is the class teacher, she just changes the data in her register. Okay. In the next year, another teacher will come. So what she recognized that there is a multiple copies of a same student with the data also mismatches. So if we are doing this thing manually, it may be happen. But the thing is, when we are using the software, database management software, it never happens. Because if I am updating that one, so it is updating on the same row. It will not create a multiple copies of the same data because we are using some key for the uniqueness. Okay, so this is one of the benefit. Next is shareable data. Shareable data, what do you mean by this? In the shareable data, we can share our data among the tools. How? Suppose I am just maintaining one file which is being shared with the account section also, reception also, staff also, management also. So I'm the class teacher. I am putting every detail of the student, father's name, mother's name, Aadhaar card number, and every detail marks. So in my table, okay, I'm shared that data with the accounts table. So what is the use of the again putting the father name, mother name by the accounts one? Because they got the shared data. See, they just put the fees, whatever the fees they have paid. So they put only that. This is the benefit of the shareable data. It means the entries will not be put again and again. If in a one table we just put the entry, we can share it with so many tables. with some laws, with some keys. So it depends upon the constraints. So what are the benefits? I'm just saying data redundancy. It means no duplication of the data is to be there. No mismatching of data should be there. No multiple copies is to be there. And whatever the data is there, it is being shared by the all of the tables. So these are the most important benefits which are being gained by the DBMS. Okay. Now we are starting with the basic terminologies. So what are the basic terminologies? The very first thing is field name. So field name is what? In field name, whatever the column name is to be there, that is the field name. Here, sub number, sub name, status, city. These are the columns name. Columns name is to be said as a field name also. So I'm just highlighting it also. S1 John. If I'm talking about the S1 record, so S1 has a John name, status is 10 and city is Delhi. So it means this is a one record of S1. So this whole row is known as a record. The single item, if I am saying S1, S2, S3, Joan, Ali, Neha, means whatever the data is to be put into the field, that is known as a data item. Okay. And what is the name of the table? Here the table name is supplier. So that is known as a relation. So this is one of the simplest terminology which is used in the SQL. Again, I am saying the column names are known as a field name. Means whatever the name is to be heading name. Supply name, status, and setting. These all are the field name. These all are known as to be a columns. Okay. Relation. So what is the relation? A table is also called the relation. So whatever the table name is, that is a also known as a relation. Tuples. So these are the synonyms. Tuples, row, record. These all are the same things. So in the horizontal manners, the whole row means if I am talking about the S1 record, that is S1 is of John, status is 10, city is Delhi. I have highlighted also. So this whole is known as either tuple or a row or record. So all these three things are the same: tuple, row, and record. So in the parallelly, we have a three things: attribute, column, field. So these are the three things. So whatever the name is a field name, so that is also known as either attribute, column, field. So supply number, supply name, status, city. Here are 4 attributes. Okay. So see here in this tuple, here what it is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. What it is? These whole are 4 rows. Either tuple, row, record. But here 1, 2, 3, 4. Here 4 are the attributes, columns or fields. Now next is what? That is a domain. Now what is a domain? So this is a table. If I am saying domain is what? In a Hindi we can say daira. We have some limits. So here if I'm talking about domain of cities, so in domain of cities, we have what cities? Delhi, Madras, Delhi is again. So we will not write that Jaipur. So whatever the domain of cities is, Delhi, Madras, Jaipur, means we have this limit only. We have to utilize these cities only. Okay. So this is what? Domain. Domain means the limit in which we have to use the things. That is a domain. Now, this is very much important, and every time this question will come also. Degree. Find out the degree of a relation. So they will give you one table and you have to find out the degree. So degree is what? How many number of columns? Columns we all have already covered. Columns, attributes, fields means how many columns, attributes or fields are there in a table. That is the degree of the relation. So here how many? 1, 2, 3 and 4. Supply number, supply name, status and city. So here what is the degree? Degree is the 4. And in the parallel, the thing is cardinality. So question comes combinedly, what is the degree of the relation? What is the cardinality of the relation? Cardinality is what? It is the number of rows and tuples in a relation. So how many rows or tuples in a relation, that is known as a cardinality. So see here S1 row, S2 row, S3 row, S4 row and S5 row. Here are 5 row. It means the cardinality is a 5. So this question is very important. What is the degree or a cardinality of the relation? Or one table is given to you and you have to find out the degree and cardinality of this table. So this is very much important. Okay. Next is a primary. So this concept is very much important. So the question is, there are different type of keys. Firstly, primary key, foreign key, alternate key, candidate. So one by one, we will discuss all these type of the keys. And if you don't know these keys, you will not make a table. You will not able to make a query in a SQL. So it is very important to just discuss this thing. Okay. A set of one or more attributes that can uniquely identify the tuples within the relation. So what do you mean by primary key? Basically, in the key which uniquely identify some particular row, that has to be made as a primary key. For example, this is a supplier table. Here, this is a supplier number. Here is supplier name and city. So we know name can be of two. Two person have same names. Two person lives in the same city. Supplier number. So it is being by the supplier that is to be uniquely given to the all employers. So this has to make as a primary key, because if we know the supplier number 2, we just find out the simplest the row, the whole detail of that supplier 2. So the row, the column which uniquely identifies the whole row, that always become a primary key. For one example more, in a student, in a school, if we say the admission number is unique to each and every student of the school. So that is to be become as a primary key. So primary key uniquely identifies the particular tuple or a record or a row within a table. Next is a candidate key. So candidate key is what? A column means one single column or a group of column which uniquely identifies the tuple within the relation, or the columns which are able to become a primary key. Now see here, if I'm saying the supplier name, now here John, Ravi, Neha. So both are the different one. So sometimes there is to be a column such like that, they both when combines together, they uniquely identify the row from the table. So that becomes a candidate key. So here supply number is a primary key, we know. So if supply name is all the different, so we can make it as a combinedly a candidate key also. Because a candidate key is what? It is a column or a group of columns which uniquely identify the tuple. Okay. Or the column which are able to become a primary key. no doubt name can be different, but right now here we don't have a different. Okay, we don't have a same. So we may it treat as a candidate key also. For example, if I'm taking a one student table, and if I'm putting we have a one column roll number and we have a one column class section. So can the roll number be treated as a primary key? No. Roll number cannot be treated as a primary key because every class has the same roll number. If I am saying a roll number 14, so every class has a 14 roll number. How we can treat it as a primary key? So here we have to make a candidate key roll number plus class plus section. Roll number and class cannot be made as a primary key because if I am talking about 12th class, so we have a variety of sections in it. If I'm saying 13 roll number of 12th class, so it might be in A section, it might be in B, C, D. So roll number, class, in section. When these columns combine together, then they treat as a candidate. Got the point? So we treat as a column or a group of columns. So it must be a uniquely identified firstly. Got it? Next is alternate. So candidate key that is not a primary key is called the alternate key. For now, just here, we treat it as a supply ID as a primary key. But here supply number is also a unique one. It can be treated as a primary key also, but we are not treating as a primary key. So in that case, it is treated as an alternate. So the key, the candidate key that is not a primary key, because a primary key is only one in our table. So maybe there are many columns in our table which uniquely identify the record. So every column will not treat as a primary key. Only one column is treated as a primary key. So in this case, the column which is treated as a primary key, except that which column uniquely identify the particular record, that is treated as an alternate. Okay. Now, the next is a foreign key. Foreign key is what? It is used to represent the relationship between the two tables. So, firstly, it is basically the linking of two tables or relationship between the two tables. A non-key attribute whose values are derived from primary key of the some other table is known as a foreign key in the current table. So, how we will it? For example, see here, in the table supplier, we have a primary key supply number, obviously, because it uniquely identifies the row in a particular table. Now in a shipping table, when I just take this supplier number, same field in the second table shipping. So in this table, we cannot treat it as a primary key. We just treat it as a foreign key. So it means it is a relationship between the two tables. It is a linking of two tables. What do you mean by this? It means in the very first table, it is treated as to be primary key. And in the next table, it is to be treated as a foreign key. Okay. So this is all about your today's terminologies. So hope you just clear all the terminologies which is to be used in the next chapters. In the next chapter, we have a various SQL queries. So if you are not aware about these terminologies, you will not able to do this. Okay, if you have any query regarding this, you will comment on that. I will solve in the next video. Thank you so much. We will meet you in the next video with the SQL commands. Thank you so much.